Good morning, guys. So today we shall see the 4-bit binary adder. So we have already seen the half adder, full adder, half subtractor and full subtractor. Those consider only 2 inputs or 3 inputs. Okay. So now we are to see that is a single number will not always have a single bit as the input. It will be having more number of bits. So for that purpose, we have to see various adders. So here the diagram shown is an example of a parallel adder. Parallel adder in the sense all the bits in the number are given as input simultaneously. Okay. So this is constructed using the full adders. So here in this, let us consider this is full adder 1, full adder 2, full adder 3 and full adder 4 because we are considering 4-bit binary adder. So it requires 4 full adders. Okay, for each of the bit positions in both the numbers because addition implies you need 2 numbers to add. So here let us consider the organ A to B. Let us just randomly take 1010. Okay, and the addend B. Let this be 1111. Okay, va? So we are going to perform A plus B. And let us give the subscript such a way that the least significant bit is given the least subscript. So here with respect to A, I am considering this is A1, this is A2, this is A3, and the most significant bit is A4. Similar way for B, I consider this as B1, B2, B3 and B4. Okay, because with respect to adder, simultaneously with the full adder, we can add only 2 or maximum 3 bits at a time. Okay, va? So here in this case, what we actually do is, so we are having A to be 1010 and B to be 1111. This is some random example I have considered. Okay. So here we are using 4 full adders, which implies each of the full adder has 3 bit as input. So with respect to the numbers A and B, I have the value in the least significant bit position. However, for carry, I do not have anything. So while seeing full adders, I was mentioning the inputs as X, Y, and Z. Sometimes we indicate one of the input to be carry input, right? So here for the least significant bit position alone, what we do is we consider the carry input to be 0. Okay, because we cannot give a 1 over here. So this C1 is actually the input carry. So we consider that to be 0. Then A1 is 0, B1 is 1, right? So now this full adder adds all these 3. So whatever be the combination, you are having only one value as the 1. So the corresponding sum will be 1 and I will get the carry to be 0, right? So here this is sum. So sum is 1 and the carry is 0. Okay, va? Next, we are to add. So this carry is the input over here. This A2 is 1 and B2 is also 1, the second position. So adding 1 with 1, we get the sum to be 0 and carry to be 1, right? So sum is 0 and carry is 1. Then with the third bit position, A3 is 0 and B3 is 1. So now adding again here 1, 0 and 1. So adding all these again you will get the sum to be 0 and carry to be 1. So sum is 0, carry is 1. So now the last most significant bit, A4 is 1 and B4 is 1. So we have all three ones. So adding this, the sum will be 1 and the carry will be 1. So the sum is 1, carry is 1. So you can write it here, or you could take it over here and mention this as the carry out. And these are the sum bits. Okay. So this is how we perform addition generally. Okay. So here with each of the full adders, we know if we are implementing the full adder using half adder. So we have let us take this as AI, BI, and operation of this. And we have BI. So this gives me the sum SI and ORing with this one will give me the carry CI plus 1. Okay, this is CI, so this is CI plus 1. That is what the indication is. So you have the input C1, A1, B1. C1, A1, B1 are the inputs in the first adder, and you get the sum as S1 and C2. Then the same way this goes. So C2, A2 and B2 are the inputs, and you get S2 and C3. Okay. So this full adder is present in each of these blocks. So here, the main thing is, you know that AIs and BIs are instantly available, right? Because these are the inputs, so it is available at the same instant. So here, considering this circuit, having this AIs and BIs, in order to get the correct sum output, you have to wait for the carry to propagate through each of the adders, right? Can you understand that? So only when the carry gets propagated through all of these full adders, you will be getting the final correct sum output and the output carry, right? So this gives you a delay. So generally, propagation delay means it is the time taken for the input to propagate through the gate and give you the output. Okay. So here in this case, if you see, in order to get the correct carry, here this particular gate is there. That is, this is our first level of the gate. This is our second level of the gate, because each of these depends on the output of the first level. And then with the final thing only, you will be getting the carry output, right? So each full adder actually has a 2-gate delay. Okay, as it is a 2-level structure, to get the final carry, there is a 2-gate delay over there in each full adders. In each full adders. So for any n-bit adder, so you will be having 2n gate level propagation delay. Okay, here in order to get the final carry, that is to get this Ci plus 1, this OR gate actually depends on the output of this particular AND gate, right? this AND gate and this AND gate. However, with the first AND gate, the value is immediately available because it is directly the inputs AI and BI. So this output is actually immediately available. However, the output of this particular AND gate has to wait for this XOR gate output. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So there is a delay. So here it is waiting for this particular output and then this particular output. Only then you can get the final carry. Okay. So there is a 2-level gate delay over there. That is for a single full adder. So the same way, this is just the cascaded structure of 4 full adders, right? That is, one output is being given to the next one with respect to the carry. Then the other output will be given to the next full adder. Likewise, this is going on. Okay. So with respect to, if you are going to have n bit adder, you will be having n times 2 gate level propagation delay. Okay, va? That is what I have mentioned it as 2n gate level propagation delay. Okay. And
Yes, ma'am.
this adder, we also call it as ripple carry adder. The name ripple carry is because from the first full adder, the carry output is given as the input to the next full adder. Then the output of the second carry output full adder is given as the input to the third full adder. Likewise, the action is going on. So this, we call it as the rippling effect actually, right? As it propagates from one to next, we call that as the rippling action. So we also call this as ripple carry adder. Okay, va? With this ripple carry adder, the main disadvantages with respect to this propagation delay. So to overcome this, what we do is we go for carry look ahead adder. That is, with respect to carry look ahead adder, we will not be waiting too long for the output to get propagated. So we will be generating the carry as such. So let us see that. So to see this carry look ahead adder, let us have the full adder circuit. So here in this, we name 2 intermediate variables Pi called carry propagate and Gi called carry generate. So this variable we call it as the Gi because this is the main component for generating the carry. So we call this as the carry generate, and here this is just aiding with the final carry. So we call that as the carry propagate. So this is given as Pi is Ai XORed with Bi and Gi is Ai ANDed with Bi. Okay. So with respect to this, we write the carry expression also. So Ci plus 1, the carry output is given as with respect to this Pi and Gi. So here this is Gi plus PICI. Okay, where your I ranges from, with respect to this 4-bit example. So I is ranging from 1 to 4. Okay, wow. So considering the first case for C1. C1 is actually our input carry. So this is also directly available. So let us go to C2. So this C2 is given as from this for I is equal to 1. C2 is equal to G1 plus P1 C1, right? Where you already have G1 as A1 B1 and P1 as A1 XORed with B1. Okay. For I is equal to 2, C3 is given as G2 plus P2 C2, where this G2 is A2 B2 and P2 is A1 XORed with, A2 XORed with B2. So now here you need to substitute C2 from this one. Otherwise, it will also again be waiting for the computation of C2. So we substitute the expression for C2 and get this as G2 plus P2 G1 plus P2 P1 C1. So now all these are actually immediately available because this G2 depends on A2 B2, P2 also depends on A2 B2, then G1 and P1 depends on A1 and B1. All these are directly available inputs at the immediate instant. Okay. Next, for I is equal to 3, we have P4 is equal to G3 plus P3 C3. Here again substituting for C3, you will get C4 is equal to G3 plus P3 G2 plus P3 P2 G1 plus P3 P2 P1 C1. Okay. And lastly, for I is equal to 4, we have C5 is equal to G4 plus P4 C4. Now substituting this C4, you get C5 is equal to G4 plus P4 G3 plus P4 P3 G2 plus P4 P3 P2 G1 plus P4 P3 P2 P1 C1. Now actually if so this C5 is our output carry. Now if we are going to implement this in the logic diagram, so this will be our logic diagram for this. Okay, we had this C1 is input carry, this Pi's and Gi's are one gate level operation, right? Because you have the AI, BI available. So giving this AI, BI to XOR gate, you will get Pi, and giving AI, BI to AND gate, you get this GI. Okay. So next, seeing you are actually having, we got that C2 as G1. So this is our G1 plus P1 C1. Okay, this is P1 C1. Then this is G2 plus this is P2 G1 and this is P2 P1 C1. Same way, this is G3, P3 G2, P3 P2 G1, P3 P2 P1 C1. Okay, va? So here with this carry generate, what we can actually see is, so here this is one level and this P1 G1 is one level. So for finding all the carry, you have only 2 level gate delay. For all, okay ma? So this particular diagram, we call it as the carry look ahead generator. So this circuit actually generates all the carry. Carry look ahead generator generates all the carry output. Okay, so this is the carry look ahead adder. Okay, just the above diagram what we saw, that is actually inside this box. This PIs, GIs that we saw, right? So you have the AIs and BIs available. So PI is generated with respect to the XOR gate and GIs are generated using the AND gates. And the final sum you get with respect to the previous carry and the, because with respect to the final carry, you actually had the diagram along with this thing, right? You had, so you want this P2 to be one of the input to the second full adder to get the sum output 2. C3 is needed to generate S3. So that is what is mentioned in this figure, right? Or in short, you could remember this as any 3-bit sum is actually AI XORed with BI XORed with CI, right? That is the thing. So you could remember it that way. So here CI, that is your C1 and P1. This AI BI XOR operation is our PI. So with that will give me the S1. Same way. So here as all the carries are generated within this, readily available is our C2, C3, C4, C5, all those cases. Okay, depending on the number of input bits, you will be having that. So S2 is generated with P2 XORed with C2, likewise all goes. So with just 2 level gate delay, you will get the carry output. So all these are your sum bits and C5 is our output carry. Okay. So this is about carry look ahead adder. Okay, wow. Next we shall see binary adder subtractor. That is in the same circuit how we can perform addition as well as subtraction. So just now we saw the 4-bit with respect to the parallel adder only, we saw that. So we shall see that one. So just by using a XOR gate, you can make the circuit work as both adder and subtractor. So the key point you need to remember is to perform A minus B, what you actually do is we used to take, so you will be having A as such. For B, you need to take the 2's complement and add it. Okay. So this is implemented as taking 1's complement and adding 1 to it. Okay. General thing about XOR gate also I will say so that you could relate it. So with XOR operation, we know the truth table as 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0 is 1 and 1, 1 is 0. So consider these two cases. Okay. So if you are XORing a number with 0, you will get the same number, right? And consider these two cases. So XORing a number with 1 will give you the complements, right? So this is important in understanding this operation. Okay. So now what actually is done is, so here we consider this M as a control input. Okay. So if M is equal to 0, the circuit performs addition. And if M is equal to 1, the circuit performs subtraction. Okay, wow. So here the A number is available as such with A1, A2, A3 and A4. So for B alone, if you are going to perform addition, you are going to have the input as it is. If you are going to perform subtraction, we need the 2's complement. Okay. So here,
M
control input, mode or control input. Okay. Some control input in order to decide how the circuit is going to work. It is going to work as an adder or subtractor. You cannot make a circuit to work as both adder and subtractor simultaneously, right? You need to show some difference. So here, when M is equal to 0, what happens is this C1 equal to 0. Okay, that implies the input carry is 0. And here this M is XORed with B1. Right? So when M is equal to 0, this particular input, that is the output of the XOR gate, will be B1 as such. Okay, when M is equal to 0, when M is equal to 0, B XORed with M will give me B. Okay, or BI. For differentiating, let us write it as BI. The same way, this M is connected as one of the input to this XOR gate. So B2 XORed with M equal to 0 will give me B2. Here I will get B3 and here I will get B4. So this is like directly performing the normal binary addition. Okay, the first circuit we saw. Okay, there also we considered the input carry to be 0. Okay. Now, when M is equal to 1, BI XORed with M will give me BI complement. Okay, that is 1's complement of the number will be obtained over here. And in this we consider M is equal to 1. So this input carry also becomes 1. Okay, so this is B1 bar, B2 bar, B3 bar, B4 bar. Okay, so this B1 bar, B2 bar, B3 bar, B4 bar is nothing but the 1's complement of B. And adding a 1 to it is with respect to this P1. Okay, so maybe let us consider an example. So first let us see addition, then we will see subtraction. So let us consider A to be 1100 and B to be 1001. And first we are going to perform addition. So M is equal to perform addition. Okay, so I am going to have 0, 0, 1, 1 for A and 1, 0, 0, 1 for B. And here I have considered M to be 0. So with that, this C1 will be 0. And here I have a 0 and 1 from this B1. So 1 XORed with 0 will give me a 1. Then here again I have 0. 0 XORed with 0 gives me a 0. Then this is 0. This is also 0. So 0 XORed with 0 gives me a 0. then this is 0 and this is 1. So 0 XORed with 1 will give me a 1, right? So this A1 is 0, A2 is 0, A3 is 1 and A4 is 1. So now here 0 plus 0 plus 1. So my sum is 1 and carry is 0. Now here all are 0. So my sum is 0 and carry is also 0. Then 0, 1, 0. So sum is 1 and carry is 0. Then 0, 1, 1. So sum is 0 and carry is 1. Okay. So the output for this is 0, 1, 0, 1. This is my sum and this is our carry. Okay, this is 12 and this is 9. So put together, you are actually having this is 21. This is 16 plus 5. Okay, so this is how the addition operation happens. Okay, wow. So the same number, let us consider A is 1100 and B is 1001. Now we take M is equal to 1 to perform subtraction. So here just I will write the normal subtraction output. So here you are having a 0. So you will be borrowing from here. So this makes a 0. So here you will be having 1 0. So from this you will get a 1 over here. So 1 0 minus 1 gives me a 1. 1 minus 0 gives me a 1. 0 minus 0 and this. This is the difference. That is what you will be observing at the SIs, and the borrow is 0, that you will be observing in the CI plus 1. Okay. So here 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. Here we have M is equal to 1. So this C1 value is 1. This is 0. So here you have 1 and 1, 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 1. This is again a 1, 1, 0, 0. So now 1 XORed with 1 gives me 0. 0 XORed with 1 gives me a 1. 0 XORed with 1 gives me a 1. And 1 XORed with 1 gives me a 0. Right? Now we are going to add all these. So here 1 plus 0 plus 0. So sum is 1, carry is 0. Then again 0 plus 0 plus 1. So sum is 1, carry is 0. Here 0 plus 1 plus 1. So sum is 0, carry is 1. Here again 1 plus 1 plus 0. So sum is 0, carry is 1. If we are going to perform subtraction using 2's complement, you will be actually getting the n carry, which will be discarded, right? The actual procedure. Do you remember the subtraction using complements? So with subtraction using complements, when we perform m minus n using 2's complement, and when m is greater than n, so you will have a n carry which will be discarded. Right? So that is what you are getting over here. Okay? If your m is less than n, you will not have any n carry. Carry out is equal to 0, which implies 2's complement of sum should be taken to check the answer understandable to humans. Okay. Do you understand this?
Like how do you enter the input and get the output?
These values are the examples with respect to this A and B, right? You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, to perform subtraction operation, we consider M is equal to 1, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Here, with respect to the XOR gate, all the XOR gates have one of the input as this M input. Okay, va? So I have given all these inputs to be 1. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the second input to the XOR gate is the corresponding B bit. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
Now output of the XOR gate. The normal XOR truth table also I wrote no the same way. If you are going to have dissimilar inputs, your output is 1, and for similar inputs, your output is 0. Okay, va? So here 1 XOR with 1 gives me 0. Here 0 with 1 gives me a 1. Here also 0 with 1 gives me a 1. 1 with 1 gives me a 0. Right? For the full adder, this is the output of the XOR gate is one of the input and the A bit is another input. And with the first full adder for the input carry, we have this mode input, that is the control input as one of the input. So we have a 1 over there. Then we are performing the normal addition only. So the sum output, you get the answer like this. And here for carry also you have a 1. But as per our procedure for subtraction using complements, we know that when we are doing subtraction using complements, when the m value is greater than n and we are performing m minus n using 2's complement, you will be getting an n carry which we have to discard in order to get the answer as the understandable form for us, right? And when m is less than n, you will be having the carry output to be 0 and the sum output, in order to understand it, you should be taking the complement. So let us just invert this example and we shall see that. With respect to addition, that is not at all an issue. Whatever be the number, you are not going to take any complement or things. So let us take A to be 0, 1, 0, 1 and B to be 1, 1, 0, 1. Okay. So A is actually, this is A4, A3, A2 and A1. So this is 1, 0, 1, 0, right? And B is 1, 0, 1, 1. Now to perform subtraction, we have this is equal to 1. Now this point gives me a 1. This is a 1. This is a 1. And this is a 1. Now here we are going to perform these things. So here 1 XORed with 1 gives me 0, 0 XORed with 1 gives me a 1, 1 XORed with 1 gives me a 0, 1 XORed with 1 gives me a 0. Then the A bits 0, 1, 0, 1. This is adder only. So we are going to perform addition only. The thing is we are going to perform subtraction operation using addition. So here 0, 1, 1. So the sum is 0, carry is 1. Here again 1, 0, 1. The sum is 0, carry is 1. Here again 1, 1, 0. So sum is 0, carry is 1. Here it is 1, 0, 0. So sum is 1 and carry is 0. So we are getting the difference as 1, 0, 0, 0 and the borrow output we got is 0. So this is, you can otherwise directly say if your borrow is equal to 0, you put a negative sign. Okay, taking 2's complement of this also gives me 1, 0, 0, 0 as till all the zeros, you will be writing the values as such until you encounter the first one. So the 2's complement of 1000 is also 1000. So this is equal to minus 8. So this is about the binary adder subtractor. So if you are going to have A to be 0011 and B to be 1010. So you are supposed to have the answer as minus 7. So you will be getting this as 0011 and taking 2's complement of this 0110. So this will be your answer actually. That is what you will get over this portion, and your C5 will be 0. So to identify that this is the correct output, you have to take the 2's complement of this again. So taking the 2's complement, you will be having the answer as 011, which is nothing but minus 7. Okay, well, this is 3 and this is 10. So your answer is expected to be minus 7. So you should be able to identify that while doing the experiment in lab. Okay. So we shall wind off today's class. Thank you guys.